back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. I'm actually really looking forward to this one today. During my time on YouTube, I've alluded to a few stories that happened in my past, in my career, that were pretty funny. Well, today I'm going to tell 4 of them, or at least kind of tell you 4 of them. 4 times that I thought for sure I was going to get fired. But of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Panerai Luminor Marina PAM 111 rubber strap. Perfect watch for my wrist. It actually looks really, really good. And of course, go check out delraywatch.com. We just got in a bunch of new watches in stock. A beautiful Rolex Pepsi bezel GMT. A few Tudor Tigers. If you like Daytonas but don't have the budget, that's a great way to go. Ooh, what else? What else do we have? A bunch of Omegas, including a Speedmaster box and papers. Lots of cool stuff. A lot more. Check out delraywatch.com. Link in the description below. So yeah, guys, I've been in the watch industry since like 2009, 2008, 2009. So it's about 10 years, roughly 10 years. I think I've had a pretty successful career. You know, everything from low-level retail to upper-level retail to brand management. Now, of course, I'm an entrepreneur. My YouTube channel and my company, Del Rey Watch Supply. I kind of, I'm not going to say I've seen it all, but basically my entire professional career has been in the watch industry. However, and everybody messes up every so often, either be it my fault or somebody else's fault, but there were a few times where I thought, shit, I'm in trouble. And I'm going to tell you about those 4 times today. And actually, looking back, at the time they happened, I mean, it was really scary stuff. But looking back now, actually, these stories are kind of funny. So the first one that happened chronologically, and this is in no order, it just happened to be the first time I really messed up, happened probably the second year of my career. I'm not going to say where I was working, but I was a sales associate for a pretty big watch company, pretty big watch retailer. And basically, the way it works is, you help customers, and at closing time, if there's still customers in the store, you can start packing up. Now, most stores don't do this, but this store did. You can start packing up, and everybody packed up their own section. And, you were responsible for that section, but I was helping with a client, and I couldn't pack up until the client left, and this was taking forever. I think I was selling a watch, but basically it was 6:20 p.m., we closed at 6, client was still there, and, everybody was packing up, and unfortunately, for security reasons, you couldn't all leave. No one could leave until the entire floor was packed up. And also, this store, I was a pretty new employee, and I was going through a little bit of a hazing process. So everybody was kind of giving me the evil eye, like, get this customer out of here, we want to go home. And of course, if you were the last one to finish packing, people gave you crap. It was just, I felt a lot of pressure to pack up my stuff so everybody could go home. Customer finally leaves. I go around the counter. I go to my section. I take out, all the watches have to be taken out of the case and put into the safe. I take out these big foam boxes that we put the watches in, and I'm there pulling. I'm pulling. And the ground behind the counter is carpet for 2 reasons. One, because if you're standing up all day in dress shoes, it helps your knees if the ground is carpet. And 2, if you drop a watch, God forbid, carpeting is much better than marble. Well, I'm pulling, I do the Ulysse Nardin case. I go over to the next case. I'm finally at the Roger Dubuis, my last one. I pull a watch out, and I'm wearing gloves while doing this. We always wear gloves when handling watches. And the watch stumbles onto the floor, and I just hear a, and I'm like, crap. Well, can't be too bad. Carpeted floor, no big deal. I pick it up, and this was a Roger Dubuis, I think it was a King Square tourbillon, a square watch with a tourbillon. It didn't hit the floor. It hit the edge of the metal safe, shattered the crystal. The hands fell off, and of course it wasn't ticking. And the first thing I can think of was, It's a $150,000 watch. Not only am I fired, but I'm going to be in debt for the next 10 years trying to pay this one off. And everybody's laughing at me. Everybody's giving me crap. Like, oh, newbie, go pack up your stuff. You're done here. I'm almost bursting into tears at this point. So I pick up the watch and I walk into the manager's office. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. And I show her the watch. And she says, you know what happened? I'm like, I was trying to pack up. Slipped out of my hand. It hit the safe. It broke. She's like, okay, be more careful. I said, I promise I will. But that was it. I didn't get written up. I didn't get in trouble. Nothing happened. I thought for sure I was fired. Turns out it was probably insured, and I'm sure worse things have happened over the years. But man, it was like my 4th week or 5th week on the job. I thought I was gone for sure. And actually, that was the 3rd tourbillon I was to break in my career. One more on this list. The other one wasn't actually my fault, so it doesn't really count. But I thought for sure I was going to be fired. But nope, not fired. All good. The second one happened a few years down the line. 3-4 years later. At this point, I've been working retail for a long time. I'd moved stores. I'm in a much higher end place. And, I'm loving life. I'm selling crazy expensive watches. I'm having a lot of fun. And this customer comes in. And this is a customer that came in like once a week or once every 2 weeks, roughly. Crazy watch collection. I mean, FP Journe Deadbeat Second Tourbillon, Paul Newman Daytonas. Just crazy longas. Like the cheapest watch he had was 10 grand. And I'd say the average price point in his collection was over 100. But here's the thing. This guy never bought anything. Ever. At least not from us. He just come in, shoot the shit, want to talk watches. I think he was a little bit lonely. So it got to the point where every sales associate, when they walked in, they ignored him. And me being the watch geek, it kind of became my responsibility to kind of take care of this guy when he came in. I knew I'd waste about an hour of my time, but no big deal. I like chatting watches, I like hanging out, and somebody had to do it, and, I figured it'd get brownie points if I always took care of him. So it became kind of my job to take care of this customer with the crazy watches who never spent $1. So he came in, and he was showing me his Journe Deadbeat Second Tourbillon. He just bought it pre-owned, and he just got it serviced from Journe, and it was gorgeous, and he was showing it off to me, oohing and ahhing, and I was super impressed. I never sold Journe at retail, so I kind of picked it up and I was looking at it, and he asks like, "Hey Fed, would you mind steam cleaning it for a second? I just got it back from the service. It was polished. It looks great, but I got a little gunk on it. Can we steam clean it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Sure, buddy. Let me take care of that for you." We go. I take off the strap. No big deal. I go downstairs to where the steamer and the polisher is. I obviously don't polish watches, but we can steam it ourselves. So I turn on the machine, I wait for it to warm up. I put on my gloves, take the tongs to hold the watch, and I put it under the steamer. I steam it, and I said, well, I go to put the strap back on, and I notice there's water in the dial. And I'm thinking 2 things. One, why didn't I water test it before I steamed it? Complete rookie mistake on my part. But also, the second thing is, this just came back from service. So even though I should have tested it, I'm not saying I was right here, I should have tested it, but something that just came back from service shouldn't fail a pressure test. Even a 30-meter water-resistant watch can be steam cleaned. We steam clean vintage watches. Yes, we usually water test them first, but I remember when he said it just came back from service, I thought I didn't need to do that. Journe should have tested it when they sent it back, or whoever serviced it. I'm not sure who serviced it, and the crown was closed. But point is, I just got water in this guy's tourbillon, in his deadbeat second tourbillon. The second tourbillon I was going to ruin in my career. Or actually, story has a happy ending. At this point, I freak out. I'm literally scared to death. I go upstairs and I go like, "Hey," let's call him Mike. "Hey, Mike, who serviced this? I mean, it's not water resistant. I went to steam it, and water got in the case, and he starts freaking out. And he's not screaming at me, but he's visually upset. So, what do I do? I mean, thankfully, I know somebody who services Journe in the city, and I go to my boss, and I'm like, listen, this is what happened. I'm really sorry. And he said, no, my boss said, it's not your fault. Like, you shouldn't be doing this guy favors anyway. He comes in every couple weeks. So, what did we do? We called the guy that services Journe. We said, listen, we have an emergency. I work for this store. I just messed up a $100,000 watch. Can you do it? And, he said, yeah, it'll take a couple days. I'll clear everything off my bench. I think it costs like, I don't know, $1,500-$1,600. The store covered it, and we fixed this gentleman's watch. Thankfully, I didn't get in too much trouble. Actually, I got thanked, because after that, he never came back to the store again. We never had to serve him coffee or chit-chat with him or let him try on 50 watches. I mean, really nice guy, but after that happened, he never came back. So I almost got props for that one, but definitely a scary situation. Now, this third one, I was working for Piaget, and this generally wasn't my fault, but it certainly didn't make me look good. So I was the wholesale sales manager for Piaget at the time. And, so I was in charge of the eastern part of North America, including Puerto Rico and Canada and the United States. All the stores were my accounts. I made sure the staff was trained. I made sure they were properly stocked, that they were following Piaget policy. Just basically making sure that the businesses, the stores ran well, and that Piaget was selling. Easier said than done, by the way. So about a year into it, so this must have been 2013, a year into it, my boss calls me into the office, and he's like, listen, there's a sales meeting in Switzerland, and I'd been to Switzerland, but I've never been to Piaget headquarters. I've got something else to do, but, you've got to go, and you've got to meet with the CEO and, like, the director of America, and, it's a meeting, you'll be there for about a week. And he said, other people from Piaget would be there from Europe, South America, all the regions were going, and it was kind of like a State of the Union meeting, and you're going to go and take care of the U.S. I said, okay, sure, love to go. I love traveling, free business class ticket to Switzerland. I would love to visit Piaget headquarters. I'm in love with the brand. I still am, actually. And yeah, it's a good time to go impress. So he says, you leave in a month. Here's your tickets, yada, yada. Okay, no big deal. Day comes, I pack up my suitcase, my best suit, my double monk strap shoes, I get my marinella tie, I get everything ready, I get my presentation ready, I go to JFK, and I was doing New York, Zurich, Geneva, on Swiss Air. Of course, you always travel Swiss Air. Business class, very comfortable, great food, great drink, 10-hour flight, whatever, no big deal. Land to Zurich, got an hour to transfer to Geneva, great. Get to Geneva, my trip is only 3-4 days. I wait at the airport for a couple hours, my suitcase never comes out. No suitcase. My suitcase never shows up. The next day, I have a meeting at the headquarters with, the most important people at the company, and I'm in a wrinkled dress shirt, jeans, dirty, like, Adidas sneakers, and, like a cashmere v-neck sweater that I'm pretty sure had, like, a little Bloody Mary mix on it, because I spilt it on the plane. No suit. No deodorant. No nothing. And this was like 9 p.m., and they were picking me up at 8 a.m. So what do? I go to the hotel, thank God they have a razor, I shave. Their laundry service was closed. They couldn't do it. My suitcase wasn't there, and nothing. I get picked up, and everybody's dressed to the nines. Swiss watch companies are extremely formal. I wore a 3-piece suit to work every day, but obviously traveling, I put the suit in my suitcase, and to be comfortable, I was in jeans and a shirt. I get picked up. I shaved. I showered. I bought some deodorant, but, obviously I didn't have my clothing. So I show up to the office, I show up to headquarters, and I'm the only one that just wasn't dressed well. Everybody was in, you know, beautiful suits and there to impress. And I call my boss and I say, listen, they lost my suitcase. And he wasn't happy. He didn't blame me for it, but he's like, oh, that's not a great way to start off. They already think we're a little sloppy in North America. The Swiss are very, very conservative. This is not a great way to start, but do your best. I go, I meet the CEO, I shake his hand, I shoot the shit. Everybody was super nice. I made very good friends with the guys from Piaget, Italy, obviously because I spoke Italian. I gave my presentation. It went really well, and I made a couple jokes about like how Swiss Air lost my suitcase, and I promise this is not how I show up to work every day. And so I did my best, and I come back to the States, and I was told by my boss that I gave a fantastic presentation. No comments about the clothing at all, but I made a fantastic presentation. Everybody was super impressed. So I thought, of course, meeting the CEO of Piaget in a wrinkled shirt, jeans, and dirty sneakers, I was gonna get fired. I mean, for sure, like he would think, who the hell is this guy? But it actually didn't go that way, and it went pretty well. Now, this last story, and one I've alluded to on the channel a few times, and that is how FP Journe, the man himself, Francois Paul Journe, almost got me fired. So I remember I was working at this high-end watch boutique, and I was standing behind the Patek counter, and this guy walks in, and I greet him like, welcome, sir, how may I help you today? He turns around, and I notice it's FP Journe. I mean, one of my favorite watchmakers of all time. And, my French is awful. He doesn't speak a word of English. I shake his hand, Mr. Journe, it's so good to meet you. My name is Federico. How can I help you today? What can I show you? And, we're trying our best to talk watches, but communication's getting a little lost. So I tell him, wait right here. I've got something very special to show you. And I know at the store we had a few Patek Philippe application pieces down in the safe below. They were never put on display. They were only for special customers. We happened to have a couple, and we had a minute repeater tourbillon. And when Patek Philippe ships their watches to the store, they ship the wood box separately, and the Patek Philippe watches are shipped in a sealed plastic bag. And actually, watches sold in the sealed plastic bag, which shouldn't be sold that way, are actually worth quite a bit more. They're called sealed Patek Philippe's. Collectors love them. So I take the bag out, and I run upstairs, and like, Mr. Journe, take a look at this minute repeater tourbillon. I hand him the bag, with my gloves, and he's looking at it, and it's he's very happy and very impressed. And what does he do next? He takes his finger and he rips open the bag, and all I can think about is, God, this watch is worth 20 grand less. And he pulls the minute repeater hammer, the minute repeater slide, and he listens to the chime. And, he says in French, très bien, or whatever he says, and all I can think about is, oh my God, I'm getting fired. This is like, they only made like 3 of these watches this year, and this guy opened it, and then he walks out of the boutique, shakes my hand, and I go into my boss's office, and I'm like, listen, the Patek minute repeater's been opened, this is what happened. And he's like, no big deal. We can just send it back to Patek Philippe, and they'll put it in a new plastic bag. Patek Philippe, or the H. Stern Watch Agency, was just a few blocks away. I didn't know you could do that, okay? I thought for sure that I just thrown $20,000 out the window because someone opened this plastic bag, and I thought I was going to lose my job. But yeah, that was quite fixable as well. And the battery died. Sorry, this video is a little longer than I thought it would be. But yeah, essentially, we got a new plastic bag for the Patek Philippe. No big deal. So those are like 4 times that I thought I was going to get into a massive amount of trouble, but actually kind of worked out all right. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.